Hey Dito, do you know what time it is?
Yes, Katie, it's allergy time.
Woo! Get the Allegra. Okay, in this episode, we talk about steamy locker room scenes. We have some lulz, and an anime gives us a show endorsement. All that and more coming up. Anyways, the show starts in 3, 2, 1. It's time for the Ktdata Anime Podcast with Dito and Ktdata. The Ktdata Anime Podcast is brought to you by generic sodas. They're everywhere. Hey everybody, welcome to the Ktdata Anime Podcast. I am Ktdata.
And I'm Dito.
Apparently we broadcast and we podcast all at the same time, guys. How are you guys all doing today? Wow, Dito, it's been like 2 weeks since I've actually talked to you.
Yes, it has actually been 2 weeks. You've been avoiding me.
I have not been avoiding you. I've just been fighting the plague.
Yes, avoiding me.
Yeah. Would you rather have me give you the plague? I can do that next time.
I thought I was the plague.
No, you're just a little bit of gout.
And quit vibrating.
I'll vibrate all I want. Anyways, for all of you guys who are watching, you're going, what in the world is going on? Well, this is a podcast Dito and I do, and what happens is we pick 3 animes every Japanese TV season, as we dub it, where we watch 3 animes, we talk about them, we spoil them like crazy. Dito wanted to make sure I mentioned this. He bolded and even changed the font size on our show notes to remind me that we will spoil things left and right, and in the case of one of our animes, it doesn't really matter because it still doesn't make any sense.
To you.
Speaking of animes, let's just jump into our first one right now. And our first anime is Kuroko no Basuke, or Kuroko's Basketball. And it's brought to you by... Dito. It's brought to you by Rooftops, because that's what megaphones are for. Oh, man.
It was your read.
Oh, no. This is
it
what
says
happens
right there, KT Read.
This is what happens when
show notes.
Dito sets up the template. Anyways, let's give you a little basic layout of these animes, since this is the first episode. So this one, as you can tell about the title, it's about basketball. Dito knows nothing about basketball, or, well, I don't know.
It's been 10 years I played basketball, put it that way.
But it's actually about a basketball team, high school basketball team, that is trying to win the inter-high championships. Who wouldn't want to win that, right? And it's about our 2 main characters, Kuroko and, what's the other guy's name?
Kagami.
Kagami, yeah. So Kuroko is this mysterious 6th member on this amazing Generations of Miracles team. They went undefeated and won many titles.
Middle school years.
In their middle school years, and now it's high school, so everybody's everywhere else. And Kuroko ends up in this brand new high school that's only been open for a year. And they're going for the championship. And what was the other guy's name again? Kagami. He wants to...
Show notes. Kagami Taiga.
Yeah, Kagami Taiga. He's from America, where we live. You know, we invented
He learned
basketball.
from the source.
Oh yeah, straight from the tap. Is that what they say? So, he's actually this. We first start out. There's, it's what would you say? Kind of the club rush day, where all the different clubs are trying to get people to sign up for their clubs. Like the Shogi Club is there, the Go Club's probably somewhere there, the Cosplay
Club was there.
I want to find the Cosplay Club.
Yes, you do.
Oh, yeah.
You're dressed in a uniform.
So what happens is the basketball club's there, and they're like, come sign up for basketball. And this tall, redheaded guy comes up and is like, I want to sign up. And so they're like, whoa, he's tall and everything. It's like, I'm from America. And, he signs up and everything. And they walk away, and they find this sheet on the table of somebody else signing up, and his name is Kuroko Tetsuya. And, it's like, I was there the whole time. They're like, what? Okay, whatever. And then they read what school he's from, which was from, we didn't write down the name of the school, did we? I think it was like Kaito Middle School or something like that. And they're like, whoa, he's from the legendary team. He's got to be, I wonder which one of the Generation of Miracles he's in. And, so they're all pumped and everything. And then on their on the first day where they're kind of having tryouts, everybody's lining up and everything, and they see this old man, and they see this girl here, and they're like, oh, the club, what is it? The club president is pretty cute. And then they find out,
she is the coach, actually, and it's Ida Rico.
And the funny thing is, the first thing she tells them to do is take off your shirts. It's
how awkward would that be? Your first day doing basketball or any sports for that matter, and your coach tells you to strip your shirt off.
That's what I told you when you tried out for this co-hosting job, Dito.
Yeah, and look where that got me, with a shirt on.
But she has this crazy ability. So she grew up with her dad, who was a professional trainer, and what happens is she has the ability to look at somebody's body and break everything down into stats and numbers, because that's what we like, because we're sports fans and we love numbers and everything, and I guess that's why people like watching baseball. And she can tell you how well you'll perform against other people. And so she's like looking at everybody, and all of a sudden there's just this. She looks at Kagami, and she's like, "Whoa, he has potential. He's ready to go right there." And then
undefined raw talent is basically what she says.
Yeah. Dito's thinking of weird things in the show notes. I don't even want to know. He's writing like notes for a doujinshi or something in here.
Huh?
I'm worried about it. Anyways, I'm just looking at your notes, dude. I'm just looking at your notes.
It's yours. You have the ability to change these notes, and you did change these notes, because I really don't know the terms of basketball as much as you do.
Anyways, then there's somebody that just pops up right behind her. It's like, what about me? And she turns around. It's like, what? It's this short, blue-haired kid, and she has him take off his shirt, and he looks all skinny and bony, kind of like me, with no talent. And she's like, what? And he's like, are you? And she's like, who are you? And it's like, oh, I'm Kuroko. And she's like, the one from the Generation of Miracles? And he's like, yeah. And they don't know what's going on, so what happens is they end up having a dramatic moment, would you say, where Kagami's like, I'm going to be the best player in Japan and whatnot. And what happens is they have a scrimmage, right? Yeah, they have a scrimmage because Dito put the notes in the wrong order.
No, they're in the right order. You're just not reading them correctly. My fault.
No. Because I swear the one-on-one match was after.
Because Kagami and Kuroko have a one-on-one, and then it goes into the little mini game that they play where it's them against the seniors.
Okay. Well, I guess, of course, for basketball, you got to practice. So Kagami, he's playing out on just some street court somewhere, and then Kuroko shows up, and the funny thing is they pump this up as like this intense equal abilities match and stuff, and then you actually see how Kuroko plays. He has no skills at all. He barely can dribble the ball. Every time he shoots, Kagami blocks him easily, and then he's like, this guy sucks. And then Kuroko's like, yeah, I know, I expected to lose against you. And I was like, then why'd you do it? Because And he just goes, well, I just wanted to see how good you really were. And, it makes you go, what does he have up his sleeve right then and there? So after that, they're having another practice because sports, you got to practice. And what's her face? Ida, she says, all right, we're going to have a scrimmage game. You newbies versus the second years who, they actually almost won the inter-high championship in their first year of being a school and competing. So they're playing, and of course the first years they're getting their butts handed to them. Let's just say that. And then what happens is Kuroko, he starts going around, and he's like, "Can you pass me the ball and everything?" And then this is when it starts turning around because since nobody ever notices Kuroko when he's walking around, it's the same thing on the court. Nobody never notices him, and he becomes this expert passer because he is able to, kind of do a shift where people don't notice him, and when they pass the ball to him, he always finds the other open guy, and he passes it to them. And, the team's actually starting to come back and everything. And they on their last play of the game, it's pretty much even, and Kuroko the second years lose the ball, and Kuroko's going up for a wide open shot. I mean, it's open court. It's just him. In basketball, when you're that wide open, people just expect you to score, and they don't even go chasing after you. Kuroko goes and tries for the layup, and he totally just misses it entirely, and all of a sudden Kagami just comes in and just dunks it behind him. It's like, this is why I hate weak people. Then it cuts to Kagami going to a hamburger shop, and he just gets a pile of burgers. That's the funniest thing ever. Is
we're talking like, for the people who could see this big, and people who can't, a ton.
Yeah, like when you used to have Big Mac Mondays, and you could just pile on. He just had a whole ton of them. Talk about emptying out the dollar menu. That's essentially what he did. And so he sits down at this table thinking it's empty, and guess who's sitting there?
Before him, mind you.
Yeah, before him too. Who do you think, Dito?
I have no clue, Katie. You tell me.
Inori from Guilty Crown.
Yes, people, we have. No, joking.
She's back, baby.
I know. Rock Lee.
Oh yeah, Rock Lee. Speaking of Rock Lee, I have to play this now. Just because you mentioned that, I have to play this. if I can find it, I gotta play this right now. Just because you mentioned it. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? I had it.
Check your box.
Oh, no. Oh, wait. No, it's right here. It's here. It's right here. I think. Which one is it? I gotta find... Oh, it's this one. Right here. Okay. Alright, no! We're not covering the Rock. We are not doing the Rock Lee anime. You guys had your chance, but nobody emailed us. But yeah, so they sit down, and Kuroko, he's just sitting there sipping on a shake. And then Kagami's like, where'd you come from? It's like, I've been here the whole time. It's like, what are you doing here? I like the milkshakes.
The vanilla shakes.
Yes, the vanilla shakes.
He likes vanilla.
He likes to be plain. That's the same way Dito likes his girls.
No.
So, they're just eating their burger there, and then Kagami throws him a burger, and after they're done, they're walking home, and Kuroko's like, why'd you join the basketball team? And Kagami's like, I want to, I love playing basketball, but I don't want to take it. I want to take it to the next level from just this amateur stuff that I see around, Japan's weak, and I want to become the best player in Japan. And Kuroko says, well, or actually then Kagami asks, it's like, if I played against the Generation of Miracles right now, how well would I do? And he's like, well, to tell you the truth, they'd demolish you.
Your current skill level, you wouldn't even reach their feet.
Yeah. And then he's like, but I've decided I'm going to help you become the best player in Japan.
Yeah, the way he puts it is that he is a shadow. And the stronger the light, the darker the shadow. So since Kagami is pretty much the light, that means he's going to be a very efficient shadow to Kagami.
Yeah. So then it cuts to the next episode, and you actually see Kagami practicing, and he's like pumped. It's a totally different demeanor from next time. And he's like, I'm gonna go play against these guys. I want to play against them. I want to beat them. Type, he's pumped for it, and he sees some of the second years actually on the team or in the hall at school, because of course this is a high school, right? Let's not forget about that. And he's like, all right, I'm on the team, right? Like, well, officially you're still a trial member. You need to go turn in a registration or an application to the team. And so what Ida does first, I thought this was awesome, is she's looking at the player stats, and it's on a red PSP. I was like, I want that game or that app that she got. That's freaking awesome.
It's because she has this like weird, I don't know what to call it, a fetish or whatnot, but it's also she really likes to cultivate talent. That's like her thing.
She likes to give everybody potential, Dito. Just like this podcast, it has potential, but we drag it down.
Mostly me.
So, no, it's me. It's all me. There's a reason why we're recording at 10 p.m. at night. And it's not you.
Because I wait around for you.
Exactly. We know who's the talent, and it's not me.
Definitely not me either. It's
somebody.
It's all about this game. It's all about this game, this PSP that gives the talent that we are lacking.
Yes, the red PSP. But then she's like, all right. She's like, oh, you're the second one today to ask. And he's like, what? Who was the other one? And it cuts the cutscene of Kuroko just like popping out of nowhere, because that's what he does, is just pop out of nowhere. And it's like, dang it, he beat me there. And she's like, but I'm only going to accept it at 8:40 a.m. tomorrow on top of the school building. Yeah, on Monday. And what it turns out to be is that it's like 5 minutes before the school-wide assembly, so everybody's lined out outside, and she's like, all right, so for me to accept your application, you have to go out there, yell out your name, your year, your class, and what your ambitions are for the basketball team. And the guy's like, can I yell out I want a girlfriend? She's like, no!
Denied.
So, of course, Kagami goes first, and he's like, he says his name, his year, and everything. And it's like, I want to beat the Generation of Miracles. And everybody's like, what? And the second guy goes, oh, I got one. And he goes up, and he starts telling his life story about basketball.
It was like a monologue of good 2 minutes or so.
Yeah. And then Ida just like kicks him, and the other guy's like, can I say I want a girlfriend? And I'm like, no!
So instead, he puts this like a roundabout route of saying he wants one by becoming the best player in Japan as well.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, Kuroko pops out of nowhere again, and he's like, I'm not really good at public speaking, so can I use this? And he pulls out a megaphone, and everybody's going, where in the world did you get that from?
Yeah, I was still like, there's no way he could have had that with him the entire time, could he?
I don't know. Maybe he carries it in a school bag. I need to start carrying a megaphone in my school bag now.
Yes, you do.
If I still went to school. So right about when he's going to do it, the principal comes up and is like, you guys again, the basketball club. You told me you wouldn't do it again this year. And so he wasn't able to announce what he's out. And of course, after school, we go back to Kagami's favorite hangout place, which would be
the burger shop.
Yeah. And guess
with
who's
a
there?
mountain of burgers again.
Yeah, again, and guess where he sits down?
Let's see. I don't know.
Right where Kuroko is sipping on his vanilla shake. And this time, Kagami, he actually asked, so why didn't you actually go to a better school than this? Because, you know, in basketball, it's all about the program. If the longer the program's been there and the more successful they've had a previous track record, they think that's actually a better school to go to. And he's like, why didn't you go to one of those better schools? And Kuroko says, well, in the Generation of Miracles middle school team, the one idea was winning is everything. So it doesn't matter what you do as long as you win. And it was about, you know, kind of making those Kobe Bryants, those Michael Jordans, you know, the superstars of a basketball team, you know, just one player. So it's more individualistic. It's not really about a team. And and he said, I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to just be the one guy. I wanted to be more of a team sport like it's supposed to be. I mean, there are 5 guys on the court from each team. So they discover that, and then so they go to the locker room. Ooh, locker room scene. No. And
KT, do you have something you want to say?
I don't know. No. I was just trying to entice more of the viewers. You know, if we say keywords in the podcast like locker room scene and like steamy, I don't know. Isn't that how you do it so people will start watching?
No,
okay. I'm not a marketer.
Like Google. That's Google search words.
Maybe I'll start putting that in our descriptions.
Do it.
Locker room scene.
Steamy.
So one of the guys comes in and is like, oh, it looks like we have a practice game, but the coach is skipping. And then one of the second years is like, oh, crap. And they're like, why? Well, if the coach is skipping, that means she managed to get a scrimmage game with a pretty good school out there. And then, so they're like all worried, like, you better worry. This is going to give us a run for our money right there. And it turns out their basketball practice game is against Kaijo High School, which just happened to be where one of the Generations of Miracles ended up at. Kisei Ryota. Because Dito got lazy and didn't want to write Generations of Miracles anymore. Just saying.
Yeah. I really don't. I just call them the GOM.
So they're at practice, and then all of a sudden they see this like huge crowd of girls at the end of the court where the stage is, and they're like, "What's going on over there?" And it turns out that it's Kisei. He's at Seren, and he's and they're like, "What are you doing here?" And it's like, "Well, since I heard our first practice game was against you guys, I wanted to come say hi to Kuroko." And, you know, Kuroko and Kisei, they're kind of having a back and forth type thing. And then all of a sudden a basketball just comes flying full force at Kisei, and he catches it with one hand. And Kagami's like, I challenge you to a one-on-one game right now. And then what happens is Kisei, he's in a suit, too, might I add. Because apparently his side job is working as a model. Okay. So what happens is when they're playing, Kisei actually copies a move that Kagami just like barely did in the scrimmage right before, and the thing is that Kagami he almost is able to block it, but Kisei totally overpowers him when he dunks the ball, and Kisei's like, oh, holy crap. And so Kisei, it's like, man, I'm kind of disappointed. And he goes to Kuroko's like, come play with us. You don't want to waste your talents with this kind of weak team right here. And Kuroko's like, nah, I don't think so. I think I'm going to stay here because... And it's like, why? It's like, because we're going to become the best team in Japan. And You know, so, and then Kagami's like, Kuroko, why are you saying the things that I'm going to say? And that ends the episode right there. And we're only 2 episodes in, haven't played like an official match yet against another team. We've only had scrimmages, and I am so pumped for this anime. It's ridiculous. I can't wait to see.
For all those who can't actually tell the tone of KT's voice, he is thoroughly excited.
I know. I'm so excited. I want to watch more basketball animes. Like, I'm tempted to go back and start watching Slam Dunk again. All 101 episodes of those. Oh, man. Oh.
Speaking of going back and watching stuff, what's up with your chat room?
I don't know. JTV broke it. But, you know what? So, basketball is one of my passions. And then Tito, he likes guns. I would say guns is probably one of your passions, wouldn't you say, Tito?
No, not one of my passions, but it is a good hobby.
Yeah, so it's a good lead-in, though, for our next anime. We have And our next anime is Jormungand, and it's brought to you by
Intentionally Grainy Video. It doesn't compress well.
Do you even know what you just said, Dito?
You explained it earlier, but yes.
Oh, alright, so... Other than this having the worst name to say,
is pretty much just about arms, arms dealers, black market, and international warfare. We come across one of our main characters, Coco. I'm gonna probably slaughter this because I even tried saying it, but it's Coco. Hi,
Hekamatar.
Oh, what are you doing? You're distracting me. Yeah, Hekamatar. She's actually a pretty young arms dealer and ends up recruiting a younger boy named Johan. And I wouldn't say he's probably 13, 14 maybe.
I wouldn't even say that. Maybe 12.
Yeah, maybe really 12. Young. I mean, he's actually really young. But Johan is actually from, he's grown up with the arms and everything stuff. His family, I guess, was arms dealers before, but during, a past incident, he just hates them now because he believes the arms dealers are the ones who are really the problem itself, but he is very damn good with guns. Anyways, when Coco was introducing Johan to the rest of the group, which are 8 people right now, which he makes the 9th member, she just gives him a gun and kind of says, pops in there, like, "Hey, everybody," and slams the door into one guy's face. It's just like, wow.
Yeah, he's in the middle of sipping something too.
Yeah. And the first thing they do is they're going, "It's a kid soldier. He has iron. Oh crap." It was really funny just to see, you would assume these hardcore gunmen and everything who are mercenaries for black market dealing, and they're scared of a kid with a gun.
Wouldn't you be scared of a kid with a gun?
Well, yeah, actually, if you look at him, Johan is complete white hair, white eyes, red eyes, I might say, actually. Looks a lot like Coco, but I don't think they're related. Yeah, anyways, his first mission is to get back the stuff that was held by the customs agencies
wherever
upgrades to one of their Air Force missiles and guidance systems. So they're calling this is Johan's first introductory mission, kind of if you screw this up, you're basically gone. Anyways.
Anyways, so they're driving to their location right there, and Johan, he doesn't talk much at all. Hardly ever talks. And Coco, she's trying. This is not Coco's kitchen, by the way. She's trying to start a conversation with him and stuff, and he won't say anything. He's like, "I don't like to talk." And all of a sudden he asks her, "So what do you do when people are tailing you?" She's like, "Well, shoot first and ask never." So all of a sudden, Johan, he just jumps into the sunroof and starts unloading an automatic weapon against two cars that have been tailing him for a while.
Yeah, the greatest part is, too, you have two members also following the car behind him, and they're just like, oh, he's shooting.
It's like, what is he doing?
And Coco was just sitting there going like, holy crap, what are you doing? Like, if you're going to shoot, let me know. You scared the crap out of me. And all he's doing is just like, there's two guys in masks just tailing him. He takes both of them out. Then there is this other like Humvee that pulls up and everything called the Baxter 6 that is a part of the group that the agency's trying, like I don't want to say the agency itself, but no, it's the custom agency is trying to prevent them getting their weapons back. And as they have like a javelin missile, the anti-tank javelin missile, which is known as the FGM-148 javelin, to shoot at their car because it's bulletproof. Johan is just kind of like lets them know there's anti-tank coming, and he throws a grenade out that just at the right moment as the missile comes by there and diverts the missile. But as he tries to reload and shoot him again, Johan just gets like a nice square to the head shot. The fire mechanism to the javelin gets put right down into the Humvee and blows it up.
Yeah. The funny thing is, like, she's like, well, they got 12 seconds to reload. And it's like, don't worry, I got this. That's essentially what he said. And, and so they go and get the stuff in the warehouse. And the weird thing is that, apparently it's common knowledge that Johan doesn't like guns. And so Coco's
looked into Johan's past and everything. He knows where he grows up, what he's did, how many places he's been, and the reason why he's been exiled apparently from these areas. So Coco tells him to follow her. He will learn to accept guns, because if you were to take out, like try to kill her to get back to the arms dealers, her men, regardless of how like goofy they look and everything, are very well skilled and could actually give him a run for his money despite his actual skill. So essentially he's just going to be following them, is what he says. It's like, I'm just following with these arms dealers, and he learns from them actually.
Yeah, and it's crazy that what happens is after they get back, I don't know why they put these. The weird thing about this show is the animation style, the tone, the colors. They're all muted, kind of more of a serious feel. And all of a sudden in this episode, you see Coco just sleepwalking and walking around and just like falling on top of the other mercenaries and everything, and they're just walking around, and Jonas, he's trying to talk with one of the other guys, like one of the more experienced guys, and he's trying to explain stuff, and then all of a sudden Coco just walks out half-dressed, like sleepwalking, and he can't say anything. And then all he says...
He's trying to explain, like, the skill of their forces and like all this stuff, and like as soon as she walks out, he's like trying to explain what's so skilled, and he's just kind of like, Coco, the restroom is that way. She just kind of like
wanders back through.
It was something I wasn't really expecting from this show, because it has a very serious tone about it, and had some slight humor with it too, but I was not expecting that.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden they get a new mission that it looks like, I don't even know where they are for this mission, to be honest with you, because they don't really say. But wherever they are is the country's trying to get in some MiL-24D helicopters, or the Hind D, and they don't want those helicopters in because that's like the whoever they stole the other parts from trying to interfere. So
well, it's like their organization is known as like kind of the muscle of the area itself, and they are learning of their plans. So they're trying to get in on the plans too, so they can reap the benefits if they were to just be able to stand on par with them. And with these helicopters, they can actually stand. They would actually kind of be on par with them. But the headquarters informed Coco and their crew that, well, if she kind of fails, they're going to cut her pay, and that's the reason why she's really trying to stop them.
I don't want my pay cuts.
Yeah. And it was great too, because if you've seen like your stereotypical animes, whenever someone throws a temper and everything, they kind of like start rolling around and everything. She does that like right on the table,
and everybody's like, "Oh, there she goes again."
Yeah, the best part was like one of the members is like, "Coco, if you keep that up, you might break your arm or something," and then things get really hairy. And she's like, "Don't worry, I got a plan." So. And this is the greatest thing too, is because they know that the CK Corson is an independent arms dealer who is dealing with the government of this country, like the military government of this country, trying to get him these parts or these the helicopters, the Hindies. Coco's team is to go and try to negotiate. Like two of their team is to negotiate with the general or the colonel. Sorry. Then there's a group of five of them, a group of five who are to be hunters, you will, and then Coco and Johan are to go to try to negotiate with Kurosen. And it's actually, let's see, Lem, Hugo, Lulz, Mao are the actual hunters. They seem really happy about doing this too. Did you just say
Lulz? I think you just said Lulz.
Lutz. Yeah, I said Lulz, didn't I say?
Yeah, you said Lulz.
Yeah, sorry. Lutz. It was because it's LUT's at Z. So, yes. I actually wrote that in just so everyone knows.
Dido.
But anyways, shut up.
Anyways, back to the anime.
Coco gives Johan another gun, and he's like, "I already have one," and she tells him to keep as a spare. The cover is that Johan is Coco's little brother, and to by any means do not pull anything until she gives the word. And that makes sense too, because when they're trying to talk with Kurosen, he kind of mentions about what they're like. It's not very nice to interfere. Coco antagonizes him a little to piss him off enough to where she is nailed with a coffee pot, where Johan draws his gun and basically is about to shoot him in the nuts. That's when she tells him to stop and notifies him that it's because, well, he actually just mentions like it'd be not very wise because I have snipers, and which makes sense because I think Coco notices that and is why she stops him. After more negotiating with itself, it seems that they are with now the two members who are with the defense agency trying to talk to him. And yeah, it's really fun to see this, that the actual reason why they were hunting, these five members are hunting, actually take out the snipers. At that point, they also the deal with the colonel goes sour as well, and they were to force the deal to turn towards them, actually, which is it HLIC, isn't it? Or HCIL?
It's 4 words. HCHL, I think.
I think. Yeah. Or HL? Yeah, I didn't write that down. It's their actual company. And
it's funny
so
how weapon smugglers have their own company.
Yeah, and it's the actual company they work for. And so when everything's said and done, it seems like that Kurosen kind of panics there for a bit and was about to, I guess, draw his weapon. And sure enough, Johan comes there and beats him to the draw and shoots him in the head.
Yeah.
But because of this too, Coco does have a slight cut in her head. And that's pretty much where it ends. Coco just kind of like jumps on Johan and he just kind of walks away when she has a big bloody face.
Yeah, and she's like, eh.
Yeah. But it seems like the welcoming committee, because he did a job well done. The welcoming committee makes him cook eggs and only eggs
for dinner. Even though
for dinner,
even though there's some bacon there, I saw some bacon.
Yeah, there was a bacon. I don't know who cooked that.
I don't know,
but Johan
bacon
sucks at cooking. He pretty much killed everybody.
Yeah, at the end, everybody's just all passive, like, this is disgusting, and then Johan's just there. Yum.
He doesn't seem to mind. That's pretty much like the first episode. It brings you into this whole series, and the next series they just pop in there, and it seems like they're out in the middle of nowhere, being escorting out some more convoy for their own, trying to get to one place to another, and they're being escorted by some local militants in the area where they happen to hit a landmine, and they seem to have run into another conflict in this particular area, and I don't even know where they are. I wish they would get better locations.
I know
where they are.
I think it's somewhere in the middle of Russia or something on this one. But the thing is that there's no cell reception. Her satellite phone doesn't work, and so they can't contact headquarters or anything at all. And what happens is after the landmine goes off, one of the guys gives Coco some binoculars, and he just shows him like there's a GSM tower that got blown up. Like any kind of communications tower was just totally blown up.
Yeah, his name is Rem, and apparently he just like deduces this just all from just getting out there, looks over where the smoky area is, which is probably a good mile and a half away.
Yeah, and the only thing around is just that small town that's near this oil pipeline, I guess, and so it looks like that's where they're actually delivering their supplies. And I forgot what they brought.
It was not Stinger missiles, but...
No, that was the other guy.
Yeah.
Anti-air. Yeah, that's what they brought. Anti-air guns.
Anti-air missiles or anti-air missiles.
Missiles. And so what happens is, so they're talking about Major Polak, and she's like, oh, okay, he signed the contract, now he's going to ask for more stuff. And then all of a sudden, this other mercenary walks up, and they're like, Coco, it's you! And they're like all friendly and whatnot. And
it was Mildred and Lou.
Yeah.
And apparently, after Coco realized that they were there, she kind of looks over and like, if you're here, that means...
crap.
And this other really interesting guy comes up named Mr. Curry of the British CCAT.
Whatever that means.
I guess it's another, I don't even know what CCAT means, to be honest, but I think it's like another another arms dealers out of Britain. So
yeah, if you guys know, Ktdata.net.
There you go. Anyways, Coco already kind of figured out that because of what's going on here, they're trying to bring her into the conflict and get more guns, more everything. And in this case, so is Mr. Curry kind of says, yeah, she has a radar that you're looking for because theirs was taken out in the bombing in the area. And she refuses, like outright refuses that she wants to get involved in this. But then they pretty much pull guns on him, saying like, you're going to help us.
Or else.
And that's where everything seems to kind of hit hits the fan pretty hard.
Yeah.
Now, so Coco kind of says like, let's not. Oh, I can't really explain how she says, but let's not try to shoot each other right now because that's just going to get messy. So she pretty much acts like she accepts the deal, tells them all let's go and everything, and outright just says no. We're just going to accept the deal and hightail it out of here. But I think Pollock Major Pollock saw through that. So he sends two of his best men to escort him up the mountain ridge where she can actually make contact to see if she can transport in the radar for him.
Yeah, and so they're over there, and what happens is before they even make a call, they see a Hind helicopter come in, which is a Mi-24V, a Hind E. I'm not that big of a helicopter buff, so if I say any of these wrong, please forgive me. And
yeah, essentially, it's actually it's the Russian helicopters in the area, and with these ones, they come equipped with, well, they're known as a Flying Death, with infrared cameras, night vision sensors, and it's pretty much very bad, and it will mow your soldiers down. What they noticed is the missiles were fired at it and missed because that there were singers bought off of Mr. Curry. And at this point, Coco runs into another member who is a part of the army that Pollock has. Lets him know that you may want to pull your forces out of here because these helicopters are going to waste you.
Yeah, it's like you're just a glowing dot they can shoot at right now. And the guy doesn't really listen. But like even at this point is like Coco, she's just like drolling out all the specs for everything on there. It's like, oh, and they replaced the stock lens with a more wide angle third party lens and kind of like when you get those car buffs that tell you what they did for the car exactly. She just starts strolling that off on military vehicles.
Yeah,
right there.
And she does it with a smile in her face while they're being attacked.
Yeah. So yeah,
they end up going back up to the car and everything because they are able to receive signal at this point. She's trying to get a hold of her brokers, if you will, and essentially what it was she was doing is getting a hold of her other two teammates in the area to try to get away from them, and they actually do. But in Mr. Curry's case, his two bodyguards, so to speak, kills their leash holders.
Yeah, and it's I almost didn't even catch it because it was right after the commercial break, and all of a sudden you just see this guy getting sliced in half, and you see the other lady just like chop him down, and Mr. Curry's like, "What are you doing?"
He just goes he just basically blows a vein on him, just calls her like military nut, war freak, and just goes like all this stuff, and like, you just destroyed my plans. And she's just laughing, having a great time, just kind of like, this is why he's our boss.
Yeah.
But in Kuroko's case, they're walking down this this road, this mountain path or whatnot, and she's on the phone, and the two guys are there asking like what's taking so long. And she's just like, I'm trying to get the location of where it's going to be, and it's actually two of her men jump out of the trees and everything and just subdue them. And she's like, yeah, tie them up and gag that one over there because he's an idiot.
Yeah, it's like, gag that other one too. He's an idiot too.
It was great too. It just shows that because one of them was antagonizer like 10 minutes after they got on the trip. Yeah.
And then the funny thing is they all end up in this some kind of factory where Mr. Curry's hiding there.
Like a small warehouse. They just meet up in like a small warehouse by chance.
Yeah.
By chance.
By chance. And then all of a sudden Mildred and Valment, they're just like, they're getting I think it's Mildred.
They need two scouts.
Yeah.
They need to get two scouts in the area, and so Kuroko sends Valmond and Mildred out there. She's just kind of like, can you please go? She's like, sure. But Mildred has this thing, like, I guess she's known Valmond for a while too. So they go out there, and Valmond and Mildred decided to have a little duel. The funny thing is that even though Mildred antagonized the whole thing, she gets her ass handed to her.
Yeah. She has like these two machetes on her, and Mildred is
she has like 4.
Yeah.
I've counted 4 at least.
And then Valmont just has this knife, just this normal standard issue knife, and she just totally owns the girl. And then all of a sudden they go scouting after that, it's kind of weird. And then, so they get back to the factory, and then they're like, we're surrounded right now by what's the guy's name?
Pollock.
Pollock's army.
Pollock's forces.
Yeah. And so what Coco says is like, we're the bigger group, so we'll try to hold them off so you guys maybe have a chance. So we'll go on ahead. And so they're all standing.
This is the greatest scene. This is probably one of the greatest scenes. I was kind of expecting like a shootout and everything because obviously Coco probably has the better team in the end. It's like they're all in front and everything. They're all ready to go, and even though that they know it's like that's a small force, but we're heavily surrounded. She just kind of like drop your arms, remove your magazine, fold your stocks, and she's just like, "We are the bigger team. Your team of 3 are inside," and they just like go past them, and it was like the funniest thing too. Is Mildred's laughing her ass off while Curry is like going crap, pulls out his P90 and just goes off on them.
Like his dual P90. I noticed he had 2 dual P90s. I'm like, oh yeah. So and then everybody else just runs away.
Oh, they're M90s. Sorry, it's like P90s is the airsoft version. I totally botched that for all those who knows. I get the M90s.
No, they're P90s.
I thought they're M90s because
that's the It's the Fabric National P90. Yes.
Okay. I just remember that they are the UN's standard issues.
Yeah, I know this for a fact. They're actually the standard issue weapons on Stargate SG-1 too.
There you go.
Yeah,
there you go. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
We're nerds.
Yeah. I can tell you their gun progression as the show goes on because I'm a huge Stargate fan. So everybody's running. So Coco's team's running away, and then Jonah he starts laughing, and everybody's like, "What's going on?" It's like he's like, "This is the first time I've been on a battlefield and I have not fired a single bullet." And
this is where this is one of the funny. Everyone actually got this joke, but Johan, it was that next time you can. Where did I put that?
It's right there, next to where he's laughing. Row 74.
Yeah, oh yeah. And this is what she says too. Prepare to fire your gun until your barrel glows, and everyone just starts laughing too because he didn't really get it. Essentially, next time they'll get into a situation where you'll have to fire until you have no more ammo.
Yeah, and then what happens is then it cuts to an airport scene or customs line, and you see Coco, and it shows a news report saying that pipeline, the siege ended all of a sudden, and she's like, "Oh, it only took 1 day." And as she's walking to catch her plane or something, all of a sudden you see Mr. Curry and like the 2 assassins over there, just like, "We made it," and they're like dressed in civilian clothes too, and so it looks like we will see more of Mr. Curry.
Yes.
Yeah.
But because of for anyone who's watching the show, watch the next episode and listen to this music.
Yeah, so like at all the episode previews, all of a sudden it just goes, "Her name is Coco. She is loco. I say no."
Yes.
I don't know why. It's catchy too. That's the problem. It's super catchy, and I'll have to remember to capture that for the next episode. And so I'm excited to see this. Other than the fact that none of us can pronounce the name of this anime, I'm really excited to see what's going to happen because all these characters, there's so much backstory that everybody in the anime seems to know, but we don't know. So they're going to have to uncover that.
Yeah, and the greatest part about this show is that I have this like Full Metal Panic feel to it without mecha.
Yeah.
Really, that's the first thing I thought of after getting to the second episode is that this reminds me a lot of Full Metal Panic, but without mechs and a little bit more darker people.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So our next anime is this one right here, and it makes no sense. And our next anime is Korewa Zombie Desu-ka of the Dead. And it's brought to you by
Hallucinations. Comes in all colors of the rainbow.
So, warning. Our protagonist, he's a zombie. So don't try this at home. What's funny is so the full name is Koriwa Zombie Desu-ka, of the dead, because this is season 2. The first season is Koriwa Zombie Desu-ka. So, just to give you a little background, our main character, like I said, he's a zombie that a necromancer revived, and there's there's a ninja that wants the necromancer to go help her do something, so she's living with him. And
vampire ninja.
Yeah, there's a vampire ninja. And in the second episode of the first season, or the first episode of the first season,
you get a mahou shoujo named Haruka.
Yeah. And that's actually a Japanese play on words. So imagine a magical girl that just happens to have a chainsaw that transforms her, which also transforms our main character into a zombie magical girl too. Cross-dressing zombie. Oh yeah.
Yes. How it works is that, for anyone who's watched the first season, knows that Ayumu is, Ayakawa, I guess we would have to call him right now, is, he's not really your stereotypical zombie. He's more like immortal, if you will. He can put his body limbs back together himself and kind of regenerate.
Yeah, he doesn't go around brains. No.
Yeah,
he pretty much lives just like a high school kid.
Yeah, the only real difference is that
you can put
for all those who really know about the human body itself, is that the human body limits us to only be able to exert so much strength out there, because if we use the full power of our bodies, we will destroy our own bodies. Because he's a zombie, those limitations don't apply to him, so he can become really, really strong.
Yeah.
Not to mention, he also can be he's also a mahou shoujo.
Yeah, there's only one limitation though. As a zombie, you tend to dry out, and that's what happens often to him when he's at school, because his desk happens to be right next to the window, and you know how hot it gets in Japan.
Exactly. Yeah. So we start out with this, and he gets escorted to the nurse's office to take his nap, where he finds a mysterious young girl raiding the medicine cabinet.
And she just yells out, "Ethyl! No, I'm not looking for ethyl alcohol," and she just runs off with these bottles. And if you guys don't know what ethyl alcohol is it's actually the alcohol you find in most of your alcoholic beverages, hence the alcohol. It's also known as ethanol. So that's what she's looking for, and it becomes a recurring theme that she's this drunk magical fairy that likes squid, fried squid.
Yes. So after Ayumu decides to go, or he gets home and everything, talks to the rest of his gang at home, and they all play it off like he's an idiot, like they usually do, because whatever he talks about, they just spout as just talking nonsense. And at this point, Ayakawa has this really weird thing, because Yu doesn't talk. Because if you remember the first episode, whenever she says stuff like that, it actually portrays her words and feelings into power and emotion, or power of emotion into power. So she tends to be very emotional. But he images her talking like various people, but in this case itself, they use CVs or voice actors from that's just not her actual voice, displaying things that he wants to see. And I've been trying to keep track of each person, like who does these voices. Like in this case, it's Manami Omi is who does the voice acting for her in this particular scene.
Yeah, it's crazy, because every time it cuts off, you'll just see her talking, and then all of a sudden it pops up this scrolling text, and it shows you who the voice actress is on there.
It's entertaining. It's been going since the first season too, so if you are familiar with this.
Yeah, it's kind of a running gag on there. So, again, he's at school, and then guess what happens again? He dries up yet again. So they how'd they get him out this time?
They didn't really show me. Like, it's also a recurring gag too. Every time that they show like the end of class, something like that, he's always dried up or something.
Yeah.
But Tomoe, which in the first episode obviously ends up believing that she is Ayumu's wife, so she comes in to bring him his lunch, But at the same time, too, Haruka also cooks a box full of fried eggs as well.
And have you noticed those eggs are like golden? They always look like they're made out of gold. They're like
always.
They're these like world amazing eggs, and that's the only thing she knows how to cook is eggs. So he's like, so yeah, I don't even know. And then so
Tomori gives him gives him a box lunch, and he looks like, oh, that's great and everything too, but then momentarily just stops and like grabs her wrist and everything. He's like, it'd be better if you don't put all those condiments on. She has like probably a good 8 or 9 condiments in her hands. And she's like, but this gives it the flavor.
I know. So it's kind of like a traditional Japanese box lunch, and she has like ketchup, mustard, and like relish and
mayo. Stuff. I couldn't even name it all off because it's like every single gap of her hands had a condiment. So she had a double fistful of condiments.
And you know what happens when you double fist? It's a bad idea. So, they're kind of eating lunch there, and the funny thing is it cuts to the 2 girls that are sitting kind of on the other side of the room, and they're like, man, those 2 act like they're already a married couple and everything. And I forgot what the one girl is. She has a crush on Ayumi, or however you say his name. You think by now?
Her name is Hiramitsu. Yeah,
Hiramitsu. And they're just like, I don't know. So, of course, Aikawa, he always stays until it's dark because he doesn't want to dry up when he's walking home. So he's
actually, before that, it cuts to another scene where you see a delivery truck in front of Aikawa's residence, and Haruka apparently ordered some of these. I don't know how to really describe this, but they're glowing eggs. And she calls them the fresh, high-graded, sparkly egg.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, right before she opens it, guess what she said, Tito?
Yes. She promotes the show.
Yeah, she goes, Kita, Kita! See, even in the shows, they like us,
Yeah.
They did it intentionally because they knew we were going to pick it.
They intentionally told us to do this show.
I love that. When I saw that, I paused it and watched it twice. I'm like, oh! Maybe we'll have to change our intro to have her say it instead.
Yes, maybe we will.
Maybe we will. Maybe not. Even though I kind of like the one we have. So Aikawa, he's like leaving, and he kind of sees a light coming off in the science room. So he goes over there, and lo and behold, guess who he sees is the little girl drinking again.
And this is the greatest part too, because he walks in and he thinks it's one of the megalos, which is the force that are trying to, I guess, get the Maho Shoujos because they're attracted to their magic. But no, instead she just kind of turns around and goes like, "Oh, hi!" And then out of nowhere she goes, bleh, and it's just vomiting rainbows.
Yeah, and then she just passes out.
Yeah, and I'm just going like, "Oh wow." Because they keep on saying that she's a hallucination. I'm like, how would you love to have a hallucination where it's just vomiting rainbows? I mean, how can it not be a hallucination then?
Man, if I had a dime for every time I took care of a friend who vomited rainbows, I'd be broke. So, so he goes home and he tells them about it, and they're like, "Oh, you're just crazy." Because one of the girls thinks he's a pervert already, since he is a cross-dressing zombie magical girl. And when they go back to school, his best friend shows him this magazine. He's like, "Look, there's this cross-dressing guy that has a chainsaw that was caught in the graveyard the other night or something." Or they got pictures of it, and they're like, "Whoa, that kind of looks like Aikawa." And they're like, "No way." And the girl,
Hiramitsu. Hiramitsu is trying to defend him, like saying that can't be him because he's not the kind of guy and everything. And he's also like, "Actually, that is me. I am like that. I do that."
I'm sorry.
And he's just like sitting there. It was just so funny because at this point he gets like he's like going, "I just can't do this anymore." So he like leaves. I'll just like kind of like playing it off, and then just bolts down there, goes to the nurse's office and tries to find the fairy, his imagination hallucinal fairy, and goes and says, "Oh, you found out about me, blah blah blah," and then all of a sudden, it's like you see this hand just like gropes his butt.
That was traumatizing. You can explain what happens right now. Oh man.
Yeah, so like KT doesn't seem to really enjoy the show as much as I find this hilarious. Is that they have this big thing about that Mahou Shoujos are, since these megalos are attracted to Mahou Shoujos, they always seem to come on to him because he reeks the power of a Mahou Shoujo. So they grab his butt and they're saying, "Oh, I want you, I need you," and he's just kind of like grabs. And he's like going, "Eee!"
Yeah.
So
this is what gets me though, is after Aikawa, he realizes what happens. You didn't mention what happens to the what the guy turns into.
No, I was just getting to that because when he things out of the megalo, it turns into what I would expect from this show, a giant squid
with tentacles.
With tentacles.
Oh man. Oh, and I'm like, oh wow, this show. I don't know how to.
It's not an anime like this if you cannot actually have your tentacles.
I don't even know how I can explain this anime to people. To be honest,
you can't. Honestly, this show you really can't explain to people without getting a strange look, without them having to see it, because this really is one of those animes you just got. It's just like, just shut up and watch.
Yeah.
Anyways. At this point, Haruka comes in and just says I'm the Mahou Shoujo. So she transforms, and is about to go whip this Megalo's butt and everything, which his name is, I put it in here somewhere. There
Mollusk
it is. Icarus. And when she goes to do that, Ayakawa was just like, "Haruka, you're back," and it shows like her whole back is just completely exposed.
Yeah. This is another running gag in the show, is that the supposedly the true magical girl, she can't transform, and every time she does, she ends up naked because her costume disappears after she does the Sailor Moon transformation sequence.
Well, it's because that for those who remember that Ayakawa absorbed the powers of Mahou Shoujo because of his zombie powers that he didn't know he could do. So Haruka's been steadily trying to replenish her magical powers and everything, and she had enough to where she could at least be fully clothed in the front, but not the back.
So all of a sudden, Aikawa, he uses his superhuman strength and just punches the squid out of the funny thing is, when the squid transforms, he's still wearing like his trench coat or something.
Yeah, it's like it's wearing like a school uniform, basically like a delinquent, like the stereotypical so-called delinquent school uniform, and they all do and I still haven't figured out why.
Yeah, so he punches it out into the schoolyard where the track is and everything, and then all of a sudden, he's out in the sun, so Aikawa is starting to dry out and stuff, and Haruna, she's like, throws him the chainsaw. It's like, dang it, I have to. And it's like, don't worry, you can erase everybody's memory after. So he transforms into the magical girl. And the funny thing is, it just shows you how
like in the first episode of the first season, everybody is surrounding him. They're taking pictures, and he's just kind of like going like, "Oh, not again, not again, not again, not again."
And everyone's like, "What a pervert! A cross-dressing pervert!" It's like, I can't believe you.
His friend, Orino, is just kind of like, "You're a pervert."
Yeah.
And now at this point, after a very long discussion, as he's transformed, I should say. The squid goes like, "Oh, so you are the Mahou Shoujo. All the more better." He's like, "What? You really do swim that way?" And he's like trying to avoid all his tentacles. And at which point he cuts one off, and everyone's just going like, "Oh my god, that chainsaw's actually real." He's like, "I know." And he's like, like I got a glimpse under the skirt, and he's actually wearing panties. And he's like, "Isn't it true?" Yeah. He's just like agreeing with everybody because it's true.
And then and to finish off the megalo, he kind of just unleashes his power to 1,000%. And the gag about this is, the more powerful he gets, the cuter he gets. So like roses start popping up and everything, and like he gets kind of like the Sailor Moon robe ear flap things on there. And Haruna's like, you can't get any cuter.
Haruka is just going like, just do it. And so he unleashes his full power and everything and gives the Mystelian kick. And the running gag on this too is just like, that's not a kick. And they chainsaw him like right in half.
Right in half. And so after that, it destroys the Megalo, which is like a AAA level one. And you look at the chainsaw; it's like partially cracked, and it's like, and he starts saying the incantation to just like erase everybody's memory, but it's not working, and the chainsaw's cracking more and more. And as he's like throwing it back and forth, he eventually breaks the chainsaw, and then everybody still remembers that he's a cross-dressing magical girl.
Yeah, because Mystelian is the chainsaw's name, and it's like an old man in there because it's pretty much it's an old chainsaw. He's just kind of like, give me a second, and then he's just like, stop that, and just and then because he broke the chainsaw, he lost basically the powers too, and now he's in front of everybody, butt naked
in his birthday suit. Oh
yes, in his birthday suit. So now that everybody knows that he is the chainsaw-wielding, cross-dressing pervert, that's pretty much where this first episode ends off. And that's almost what I'd expect from the first episode of Korewall, to be honest, from the first season.
And then I love how he just destroyed a giant squid that was attacking the school, and everybody's just concerned that he's a cross-dressing, streaking freak.
Yeah, and it's like this tentacle being that has Hiromitsu. They didn't even like focus on that at all, and even though like they recorded everything, like his whole battle, his whole transformation, everything stuff, they just kind of like, oh my god, he is a pervert, and he's wearing girls' clothing, and he got like 10 times more perverty, and that's all they can focus on. It's the ongoing joke with this, and I find it funny. Yeah. So next episode they find
me of our high school, right?
Huh?
Kind of reminds me of high school. Normal.
Yes. High school, right? Yeah. Well, this is probably the most unnormal high school you can really get to. But in the next episode, they show Ayakawa in front of one of the police boxes where he finds Sarah, which is the vampire ninja, to meet him, and she just knocks him down in a few more notches just for good measure.
I love what the officer tells him to. It's like, I never want to see you here ever again.
Yes. Oh, it's like he just Ayakawa was just literally just done, gone, depressed. Doesn't matter. But when he gets home, this is the kicker too, because they have this called Yotoib, which is the equivalent to our YouTube, and they have the whole thing on there, and he's just kind of like gone. I mean, Haruka and you are sitting there like watching this.
And like, oh my god, I can't believe it's gotten so many views.
Yes, and it was horrible. So next day he gets into school and everything, and he's just like going, he's just got to face the music and everything. He gets in there and everyone's just kind of like, there he is, this is the great Ayakawa, and they're just like, wait, what? It's like overnight, because of his perverted cross-dressing ways, it became fashion.
Yeah, he's like a overnight internet superstar, and everybody's like, oh my god, can I get your autograph? Do you have a girlfriend? That kind of fandom right there. And he can't take it, and especially his friend, what was it, Orino kind of just turns his back on him because he doesn't like that he's popular. So what does Ayakawa do? He just runs off again to...
It probably didn't help too that Hiromitsu kind of says, you have nice legs. He just kind of like that was it, just gone. It was like horrible because she's like trying to compliment him in her own way, but she just doesn't seem to help him at all.
Yeah, and what happens is he ends up running to the science lab again, and there we are, magical drunk fairies there again.
And just at this point, just gives them some more advice, saying that you shouldn't really worry about it. Like it takes this X amount of time. I can't even remember what number she put in there, saying that gossip only lasts for this much time. And he's like, 72 days. Okay, now I'll just have to do this. Then that's where
That's
wow. I just had a
well,
brain fart. Sorry, guys.
well,
This is where he leaves and everything, and he meets up with Torima, and suggests that he joins her in the mountains, and he just goes, you know what, that is a good idea. So he kind of mentions it to everybody, and when he gets home that he's gonna like go to the mountains, and Yu is just like, you're gonna become a hermit. He's like, I just really just want to be away from everybody right now, you know. So then he kind of mentions that he's going to be with Torigami, or I don't know why. It's like her name is Yuki. So
yeah, I know her as Yuki. So
I just put Yuki because they're going to probably use her real name in there. So,
but that was another running gag because you could write Yuki the same way as Tomonori, and everybody would always call her Tomonori, even though her name is Yuki. So they kind of give her this look. Usually the look I give Dito when he has an idea. So they meet at the train station, and you see Aikwa there, and then all of a sudden you just see the rest of the gang coming along. It's like, oh, you're not alone, and they're like, no. It's like, that's not a problem. It's like, oh no, that's not a problem. So what happens is when they're hiking to the spot, Haruna, she's like, all right, hold on, I gotta take a bathroom break, and wanders off into the forest. And they're like, there's no bathrooms there. It's like, I know. And so she's gone for a while, and they're just like sitting there talking. And they're like, what's taking her so long? And so
Aikawa decides to go look for Haruna, and this is the part of the funniest thing too, is because Yuki decides to join him. Sorry, and at this point she kind of trips and everything. You have this little embracing moment, and Aikawa was just like, I want to thank you for like bringing me out here and all this fun stuff. And then here comes Haruna. I don't want to say Haruka now. I'm thinking of
Haruna.
Guilty Crown all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Haruna comes just running and going like, be,
and then
boys be ambitious. And I'm like, what?
I know, I'm like, what? And that's what she says, because she's, unlike most of these things, she was saying that in English, and I know English.
Yeah.
She said in English, boys be ambitious, and I'm like, what in the world? And
at this point, it cuts into the commercial, and it comes back, and apparently she's being chased by a bunch of bees. And at this point, everyone just bolts the opposite direction, where Haruna like grabs Ayakawa around the waist, and she's just like, "Oh, are you hugging me?" And she's just like, "Ayakawa shield," and throws him into the bees. Like, I saw this coming.
And then he turns into like, you see those on TV when the guy's just covered in bees, and he's like running away. And out of all the places he runs into this giant bear that's coming after him. So, when he's running away from the bears, and then he trips over a branch, and when you trip, sometimes your hand flies out. He just happens to catch the waistband of Sarah's pants, and then you just see Sarah's panties for no apparent reason. It's like, you better have a good explanation for this. And he's like, I wish I had a really good explanation for this.
Oh, the greatest thing too is like, I'm gonna try to do one here, and as soon as he tries explaining it, Sarah just goes, pokes him right in the eyes. He's like, at least let me try to explain.
And then this is the most random scene after that too. After that scene, you see Haruna cuddling with a bear that was chasing after them.
And the only explanation was like, you're lucky I know how to talk to bears, or I know how to communicate with animals. And it's just kind of like going, you could at least help me out with that before.
Yeah.
So at this point, they all get to the top of the mountain, and they see the shooting stars and everything. And this is about where Kawa realizes, and I should just accept, like, toss away the old me. And so this is where he comes in that whole monologue when they're on the trains, like, and Haruna, blah, now I'm saying that again. Haruna is
Is
giving
Haruka going to be our new
the
Tetsuro?
the eggs again. There's the egg box lunch to Yuki, and she's just kind of like going, like, everybody can never get enough of this. Apparently, it's just so good that you can always, every day, eat these eggs, and it's just the ongoing joke that I just accept because
they're glowing golden eggs.
They're glowing golden eggs that I want to try.
I know, me too. I want some of those because everybody seems to love them.
So Ayakawa says goodbye to his old self and embraces his new self. And
he's like, yes!
Gets into school and everything. And he's sitting there like signing autographs and everything. He's like, I say goodbye to my new self now.
So, after his day of, being a celebrity and signing autographs, he's walking down the stairs and, how do you say her name?
Savarati. Savarati. I think that's the best way I can put it down is like Savarati, which is a part of the other vampire ninja clan that knows Sarah. And she's been kind of stalking Ayakawa for quite some time now. And gives him a letter, and he's about to sign everything. He's like, "Don't you dare do that! Put it underwater."
Yeah.
So he goes to one of the drinking fountains. Put it under itself, and it says, "You're my darling piece of shit."
And he's like, "What?" And she's like, "He understood my message."
And he's just kind of like going, "Who would write this?"
Like, this is the quintessential. Like, if you could put the saying "love-hate relationship" into a person, it's this girl right here.
Yes, Savarati is probably the quintessential of love-hate relationship. So he goes in the classroom and he finds Orino there, and he tries to explain, like, "Dude, why'd you run off like that?" And he's like, "Well, you're such a celebrity now. I just don't know if I can like accept the fact you're a cross-dressing pervert right now. So, just give me some time."
So he kind of just runs off, and Aiko was like, "What? I haven't changed."
And the greatest thing is he turns around, there's Savarati there again, and it's just kind of like saying that you're my darling piece of crap. And then and he's like, "What?" And he's like, "I will never betray you." So blah, and so and just like walks off, and he's just kind of like left there so confused. He's like, "What just happened?"
Yeah. And then out of the most random things, at the end of this episode, it cuts to, as wacky as this anime is, it is wacky. It cuts to like a serious scene for once, and it's Dai Sensei and what was the name? Kyoko, which we meet halfway through the first season. She's kind of nuts, and like it looks like Dai Sensei's like interrogating her, trying to get something out of her. So I'm really curious what that's gonna happen.
Yeah. So first two episodes of the second season is pretty much follows exactly into what you just left off into from the first series.
Yeah. And believe me, if it doesn't make sense to you when you're watching us or when you're listening to us, watching it still doesn't make sense. Like,
well, it makes better sense because JT hasn't even finished the first season
there's
yet.
There's a lot of inside jokes that carry along with it, but it's crazy. It's weird.
Nuts.
It's kind of like what happens when Dito and I get together and throw ideas against each other.
Yes, we bounce off each other pretty well, and this
that's why you should watch the pre-show. If you watch the pre-show and the post-show, it's pretty much what would happen if that turned into an anime.
Yes, if Kita turned into anime, I think it would be very close to Koriwa Zombie Desu-ka.
Yeah. And, well, that's all our animes we got for this week. I know we're going a little long this time, but, we kind of had to give you a little bit of an intro for all these 3 animes that we picked. But if you have any feedback on it, kita@ktdata.net. I'm begging you guys. Seriously. Why won't anybody send us emails?
I think I scare people. I really honestly think I scare people from sending us emails because then I will read them. I will read emails, and I think no one really wants to hear me do it.
I don't know. But, so make sure you guys check us out when we do it live. Like I said, talking about our pre and post shows, you only can see those live. So make sure you come at ktdata.net/live. And our next live one's going to be May 8th in 2 weeks. And
Yeah.
And we usually start somewhere between 7 to 10, somewhere in that time
Give or take.
slot.
Yeah, give or take.
Yeah. Make sure you guys check out ktdata.net. One thing that I always forget to mention is that if you check the show notes for all the Kita Anime podcasts, I actually give you links to watch where you can find all these episodes, and they're all legal too. It's not none of this illegal shenanigans right there. They're usually from like Funimation's website or on Crunchyroll. So if you watch them, it helps support these animes and helps get them over here to the US too. So
Yes.
Make sure you guys check it out. And plus, Dito writes a bunch of crap on ktdata.net. Right?
Yeah, check out my shenanigans because by next week itself, I should be getting my box of loot, which is include some IS figures, some more Figmas. I'm going to be getting a skin of Neptunia, Hyperdimension Neptunia, and actually some Persona 4 business card holders.
Ooh.
Not to mention, too, I also want to announce, too, in 2 months, everybody, Ktdata, KT and I, are going to be heading down to Anime Expo 2012.
That's going to be exciting, you know. And speaking of boxes, Dito, I just got a bag of crap today, and you guys that's the thing everybody loves to watch is watch me open a bunch of crap. So,
yeah,
make sure you keep an eye out that. You'll see disappointment, intrigue, suspense, all of that at ktdata.net. That's all I got. Do you have anything, Dito?
I got nothing.
All right, guys. So, we will see you in 2 weeks. You guys have an awesome 2 weeks. Until then, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bounce, Dito.
I don't got a bouncy ball like you.
I like how we wait for that now.
Yes. That really weird, like.
All right, stop this recording.
You're vibrating again.
Video was recording. Audio has been recording for a while.
Apparently.
All right. Let's hope I don't sniffle too much on the thing. I need to get a cough switch.
Oh, come on. It'd be like the day I did when I was sick.
Yeah, but my microphone picks up more.
Well, I was muting myself while doing it.
I don't have like a mute switch. These are all knobs.
I have one right here.
So I have to turn
and it's just me.
knobs. I have to turn knobs when I do this kind of stuff.
I'm sounding really weird when I'm doing this. Right?
I worry
looks
that
really weird.
I really worry that I heard a toilet flush in the background.
You heard that?
Yes.